Hello everyone, my name is Mimi79 and today we've got a race of attrition. So this is daily race C at Suzuka in Group 2 cars, which basically should just be called the Nissan GTR class, because literally every single car apart from about two are in the Nissan GTR. So I apologise about the audio. I have no idea why it's so echoey, but starting 15th, I just kind of set like a really slow lap time. So yeah, because if you start 20th, basically what happens is you spawn under the bridge. So basically you're about half a lap behind compared to everyone else, which needs to get fixed pretty much as soon as possible, because it is a really annoying bug. So just trying to kind of catch up to the Swiss driver here, because you know the grid starts are quite spread out, and immediately gaining a place on surprisingly moist. Pretty awesome username if you ask me. So, coming through the hairpin, I've forgotten the name of it honestly, just like pretty much every corner name in racing. So, coming up to the spoon curve, that's one I haven't forgotten, in the slipstream. And is there anyone who's going to run while it gets sucked off? No, actually, surprisingly not. There is a car going slowly though, so maybe there was a victim. So we're just going to slip by. He moves over to the right, but we could just easily go to the inside. So took him back into the slipstream then of the Swiss driver. There's another yellow flag, so a lot's going on. And there's a massive group of cars. Cars ghosted everywhere. And there's about 7 cars within about a second of each other. The Swiss driver goes to the pit lane. I'm presuming they're doing the 2-stop, which honestly is the slowest strategy in my opinion. But we'll see how he fares on later on in the race. So coming through turn 1, everyone's kind of really closed up together. So just making our way through the S's here. We really need to be precise and clip the apex. You don't want to hit the grass because that will throw you offline massively. So coming through the Dunlop curve, just kissing the apex, that's what you want to do. You don't want to go any further than the curb on the S's. If you go onto the grass, then you'll just end up losing loads of time. There's a driver off there, so we won't be seeing him for the rest of the race. So up into 10th. Remember, we started 15th and 6th is right there in front of us. The Frenchman taking the really wide line. The Swiss driver getting a 1-second penalty. Not sure what that was for, to be completely honest. And the creator is just behind him. Presumably why he got the penalty. I'm presuming there was a bit of contact. There's another driver going wide at the spoon curve. Lots of people tend to make that mistake, including myself. Although sometimes through no fault of my own, as you'll see later on. So just sticking in the slipstream, that's kind of the most important thing. However, one downside though is you do get the dirty air. Braking a little bit early, because in the previous races I did kind of end up killing someone, or more than one person actually, at that corner. To be fair, they did brake quite early, but you know, I also braked quite late. So coming into the first corner, we're going to pull over to the inside, and it's a pretty easy move, pretty textbook. So now we're going to just try and catch up with these two up in front. So Bigosh PL, which is a Polish word by the way. Real sorry. So I'm not sure why he's running the British flag, but you know. And then we've got the Spaniard just in front. The bridge started to drop off here, which is a bit concerning because I need to try and tag along in the slipstream to maybe try and get the overtake. running really wide, which just hit the grass there and just makes us lose all sense of grip. So back down into the 10th, and most importantly, we've lost vital seconds to those two in 7th and 6th respectively. Again, back in 10th, behind the Swiss driver, Moto Seb 80. We really need to try and get past. It's clear that we're faster. So coming through the spoon curve, we're just going to take the opportunity, and then he spins out, or does a semi-spin, as he runs onto the curb. Pretty unfortunate for him, but you know, I have to take the opportunity, and I did. Again, in the slipstream with the Frenchman, no idea how we're back behind him. Actually, I do have an idea. I completely bottled the second Degner. So coming into the final chicane, braking quite early, as you know, I was trying to take a few precautions, as I thought that I could end up killing someone. And then, surprisingly, Moist goes for a surprising dive bomb. Wasn't really a dive bomb, but still, pretty decent move. Late on the brakes, just backing off there because I don't want to go into the back of him. So through the first corner, and then into the S's. Just going onto the grass then, that's going to make us lose a lot of time because we have to correct our line and then not quite hitting the apex and then just touching the grass, not the ideal line, and then through the Dunlop curve again, just touching the grass, not what we want to do. So now it's just going to be, now we're just going to have to play a bit of catch up here. So through the first Degner, into the second, on the power nice and early. Surprisingly, Moist is going for a move on round the outside, but that's just going to lose him a lot of time. He will get a good exit though, as obviously he's taken a lot more track, so he'll get the acceleration out of the corner. So coming into spoon curve, the Frenchman looks all over the place, so slowing right down because the Brit really didn't know what to do. And I don't blame him because the Frenchman was weaving all over the place, pretty dangerous stuff. So coming through, or going down this main straight, not really the main straight, but it's kind of the longest one on the track, going through 130R, the Spaniard's going slowly, so that's going to mess everyone up. I kind of have nowhere to go, and I'm going to get a 2-second penalty, not really my fault, and then we're going to be forced onto the curb, and then we're just going to go into like tiniest spin ever, and then it's just going to spin out. Admittedly, not much I can do there. So serving our penalty, back into 10th place temporarily, into 11th. We should just about stay in 11th. Oh, the Swiss driver goes for a real good move. I'll give Leo that one. That was a really nice move. Quick thinking down the inside at 130R. So the tyres are pretty dead here, I'll be honest. He pulls into the pit lane for a second stop of the race. And at this point, I was just trying to catch up with the Spaniard, FIFA Gachas 88. And the Brit just rejoins in front of him, and there's not much I can really do. So we're just going to skip forward to the end of the lap, where there's actually the Spaniard serving his penalty. So we're going to try and get past him as quickly as possible. We're going to make our pit stop anyway. The tyres are pretty dead at this point. So down the inside, pretty textbook move. A little tiny bit of contact, but didn't really affect anyone. Now here, I turned in a little bit too late, and I just caught the entry to the pit lane. So we're going to get a 0.5 second penalty. No idea why you get a track limit penalty there, but we have to just roll with it, I guess. So back in 11th place. I just can't escape, can I? So we're on fresh shot, soft, so we should be able to push as much as possible. You know, fresh tyres, low-ish fuel, and I'm pretty sure Moto Seb is on old medium, so we should be able to swamp him very quickly through Dunlop curve. Not as fast as I would like to take it, but we're still gaining astronomical amounts of time. Yellow flag up ahead, and I'm pretty sure it's the Brit. Yeah, he's just kind of had a massive excursion. I'm going to move up into 10th place. Are we going to try and get a move down the inside? Not quite. Even though we have the fresh soft, it's just not possible from there. So going to the left hand side, but it does defend pretty well. So a move just isn't likely going into the spoon. However, we're gonna think about a move, and then he just kind of lets us. But then there's a tiny bit of contact, and it just goes wide. And then flicker back, he gets a 1 second penalty. This penalty system is something else, I tell you. You know, he ran wide, and he still got the penalty, which just doesn't make sense, honestly. So we're just going to have to try and get the hammer down here and try and catch up with the drivers in front. So through the final chicane, clipping the apex quite nicely. So I'm just going to skip forward because I was trying to catch up. So coming towards the end of lap 8 here, there's a driver off at spoon, I'm presuming anyway. So it's a Spaniard actually. He was in the lead at the start of the race. So big fall from grace for him. Not very ideal. However, we are going to have to try and make the move, as his tyres are pretty dirty. Another yellow flag. What is going on? And there's 2 drivers off. Surprisingly moist with a 4 second penalty. So we gained 2 positions basically for free. Didn't even have to do anything there. So coming on to the start of lap 9, setting our personal best of the race, 49.2, which honestly isn't even that bad. But the driver in the lead is set at 47.4, absolutely rapid pace, must be said. So gaining a lot of time through the first corner on the Spaniard, clipping the apex, through the first, through the second, through the third as well. Can we make it the fourth? Yes we can. So just clipping the grass there, not exactly what we wanted. However, we are going to close up here. The Germans go rather slowly, so there is a potential for 5th here. Either Ronnie perhaps going for the no stop. Not the best line through Decker 2, I will be honest. Kind of had to brake quite late and then miss the apex. And then he just spins and then he tags me, so he completely bottles it, and he's going to lose even more places as a result. So now our focus is going to go to catching the German, who is going pretty slowly. You know, at one point he was in 3rd, I'm pretty sure. So he's probably going for the no stop, which isn't the best idea because your tyres just are so dead at the back half of the race that it's just impossible to kind of keep a consistent pace. So just over a second, or just under a second, sorry, to the German, cutting 130R, not the quickest line, I will have to say, into the final chicane, hitting the apex quite nicely. Not the best exit, and the Brits just kind of gone off, so maybe, just maybe, there is a chance for 4th. So on to the final lap then. 49.989, pretty solid lap considering my tyres have started to go off, and also considering I got hit by the Spaniard. So just about 8 tenths to the German here, and Ben Cross is also in the mix here, so we need to try and get past the German. He's really struggling, a lot of oversteer, I'm pretty sure, from his end anyway. So through Dunlop, the Brit runs wide and there's a bit of touching, and then the German gets a 2 second penalty. What is this game now anyway? You know, I just can't wait for Gran 7. Sticking in 3rd gear, a lot of oversteer from the Brit. So we're going to try and make a move work round the outside. But he just covers it off quite nicely there. Go to the left hand side because he could get a better exit, but he defends quite well. Little bit of contact, but you know, I don't really mind. And at this point, I was quite mad because I went to the outside, maybe stuck up a little bit too late, and then we get shoved off the track. You know, pretty disappointing considering we could have got 4th in this race, and now we're far behind. However, the Germans still has this penalty to serve, so we could still get past. We go to the right, but then he comes down, but then he goes to the left and he just swerves, lifting off through 130R, perhaps a little bit too much, and then the German doesn't know where to go, and he just kind of taps me in the rear, a little love tap. So cutting the final chicane because there's nowhere else to go, and then at this point the Spaniard was caught up, so I just hit them both, and we're going to look at this. So the Spaniard hits me, and then the Brit also kind of taps me as well. So we're going to look at the Spanish POV as well. I just come out of Ghost at the worst time possible for him, although to be fair he did kind of save me. So we're going to look at his POV here, and they both get 2-second penalties, so we move back into 6th place, but that's going to be the end. If you did enjoy, just like and subscribe. You don't have to, of course, but if you do like the content, just hit the sub button. But that's all from me. Take care, everyone, and goodbye.